would you like to do a series with Red Fox? And I said, Red Fox, who's going to put him on television? Are you nuts? They'll never put him on television. He said, well, I think you guys need to meet to see if there's anything there.
In their prime, they were television's most iconic comedic duo, but when Red Fox passed away, his on-screen son, Demon Wilson, was conspicuously absent. Fans were left stunned and confused. Why would Wilson skip the funeral of the man who played his father on Sanford and Son? For years, rumors circulated. Was it a deep-seated resentment, a personal betrayal, or something else entirely? Now, the full story behind their fractured relationship is coming to light, and it's far more complex than anyone knew. When Sanford and Son premiered on NBC in 1972, it was a pivotal moment in American television history. The show introduced audiences to a black father-son duo whose comedic chemistry was groundbreaking. Foxx, a legendary comedian famous for his adult-themed party albums, brought his unique, gritty humor to the role of Fred Sanford, a grumpy junk dealer from Watts, Los Angeles. Wilson, a relatively new actor, was cast as his patient but often exasperated son, Lamont. Their on-screen dynamic was electric. Fox's cranky Fred constantly schemed, while Wilson's more grounded Lamont acted as his foil, creating a rhythm that was both hilarious and deeply authentic. The show became an instant ratings hit for NBC. But behind the scenes, a different story was unfolding. One of a relationship that started with brotherly affection and eventually devolved into bitter estrangement. In the early days of the show, Foxx acted as a mentor to Wilson. Known for his loyalty to those he cared about, Foxx saw promise in Wilson and took him under his wing. He reportedly treated Wilson like a younger brother, even advocating for him behind the scenes to get more favorable billing as the show's co-star. For a time, it seemed their off-screen bond mirrored their on-screen relationship, a veteran guiding a promising young talent. By 1974, Sanford and Son was a massive success, beloved for its blend of sharp humor and social commentary. Yet, storm clouds were gathering. Foxx began to feel he was being financially and professionally shortchanged by the network. He believed he was not only underpaid but also disrespected, particularly when comparing his compensation to that of white stars with similar or even lower-rated shows. A 1977 New York Times report noted that Foxx demanded a significant salary increase and improved working conditions, including an upgraded dressing room to match his star power. To Foxx, these weren't just about money, they were symbols of racial inequity. A Jet magazine report from the time quoted Foxx, who felt he was being punished for being successful and black. He claimed he was being treated unfairly compared to white stars with similar ratings. The tension peaked in 1974 when Foxx walked off the set during the show's third season. NBC responded swiftly, suspending him. Rather than negotiate, the network wrote Fred Sanford out of the show temporarily, stating he had gone to Sainton. Louis. They introduced a new character, Grady Wilson, played by Whitman Mayo, to fill the void. Though Mayo was a talented comedian, the absence of Foxx was glaring, and many fans felt the heart of the show was missing. This period placed Demon Wilson in an incredibly difficult position. With Foxx gone, he was suddenly the central figure of Sanford and Son. Publicly, he handled the transition gracefully, expressing hope for Foxx's return. But privately, things were more complicated. While Wilson initially supported Foxx, his stance became more neutral as the dispute dragged on. He continued to show up for work, filming new episodes and doing press. In Foxx's eyes, this bordered on betrayal. Foxx reportedly expected Wilson to stand with him in solidarity and refused to continue the show, putting pressure on NBC. That never happened. From Foxx's perspective, Wilson owed him not just gratitude but complete loyalty, given that Foxx had fought for him early in his career. For Wilson to keep the show afloat felt like a profound abandonment. However, Wilson's perspective was different. He was under contract, building his own career, and likely didn't want to jeopardize it. He may have also resented Foxx's expectation of blind loyalty, especially since Fox's walkout had put him in a difficult professional spot. The rift between them quietly deepened. Fox eventually returned to the show after NBC met many of his demands, including a significantly higher salary and greater control over the show's content. But while Fred Sanford was back, the camaraderie between the two actors was gone. Their working relationship became strained. Though their on-screen performances remained top-notch, the off-camera bond was permanently fractured. Fox never forgave what he saw as Wilson's failure to stand with him, and Wilson grew disillusioned with the set's volatile atmosphere and Fox's ego. The 1974 walkout was a defining moment, a glimpse into the cost of fighting for equity in a racially imbalanced industry. For Fox, it was a financial win that came with lasting emotional scars. For Wilson, it marked the beginning of the end of one of television's most iconic partnerships. When Fox returned, the show quickly reclaimed its popularity, but behind the scenes, a new source of tension had emerged: money. After his successful renegotiation, Fox was reportedly one of the highest-paid actors on television. Wilson, meanwhile, remained under his original contract, earning considerably less despite being a co-lead. To Wilson, this disparity felt deeply unjust. He had carried the show during Fox's absence, yet his compensation didn't reflect that value. He also felt Fox had not pushed for his raise the way he once had. The resentment grew, manifesting in cold silences and professional distance. Creative tensions also emerged as Fox, with his newfound clout, asserted more influence over the show. Wilson, who saw himself as an actor with a wider range, felt left out of these decisions. People close to the production have since revealed the friction became undeniable. Fox reportedly viewed Wilson as ungrateful, while Wilson believed Fox had become arrogant and selfish. By the final season, their once familial bond had devolved into a cold, transactional partnership. Interactions were minimal and strictly professional. When Sanford and Son aired its final episode in 1977, it marked the end of a legendary show and the beginning of a permanent estrangement between its two stars. Whatever warmth or respect had existed had evaporated, replaced by resentment and disappointment. Their relationship ended the moment the cameras stopped rolling. After the show's cancellation, Fox returned to stand-up comedy. In 1977, he launched the Red Fox Comedy Hour on ABC. Conspicuously absent was Wilson. In a stand-up routine, Fox made a thinly veiled jab about someone who had stabbed me in the back, which was widely interpreted as a dig at Wilson. Meanwhile, Wilson underwent a personal and spiritual transformation. Disillusioned with Hollywood's greed and egos, he turned his back on the industry, becoming a devout Christian and an ordained minister. He began preaching across the country and, in a 1994 interview, described Hollywood as an evil industry. He made it clear he had no intention of returning to acting or reconnecting with Fox. The years passed with a deafening silence between them. Fox went on to star in the CBS sitcom The Royal Family before his sudden death from a heart attack in 1991. The tragedy sent shockwaves through Hollywood and begged the question, would Wilson attend the funeral? The answer was no. When asked years later on a talk show about his absence, Wilson's reply was definitive: "We weren't speaking at the time of his death. I have my reasons." He offered no further explanation. Their lack of reconciliation remains one of television history's most poignant and unresolved chapters. While millions of fans still cherish the father-son banter of Fred and Lamont, the reality was much darker. Even in retrospectives, Wilson rarely participates, and when he does, he seldom mentions Fox by name. The bitterness runs deep. For his part, Fox maintained the air of a man betrayed, never explicitly naming Wilson but never denying the fallout either. What do you think was at the root of the feud between Demon Wilson and Red Fox? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. We hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.